Welcome to the Eye on Annapolis Local Business Spotlight. There are thousands of locally owned businesses in the area, some small and some large. Some you may know and others you don't. But one thing they all have in common is a great story, and we want to share it with you. Join us every Saturday as we talk to the founders, the owners, and the managers of local businesses you have come to know and love, and those you will come to know and love. Now here's your host, John Frenay, with this week's Local Business Spotlight.
Well, I'm excited to be back here again with the Bernie House, and we're here with Patti Slaughter because we've spoken a couple times. Once we did it on your dining room table. Once we were back here, I think it was about a year ago with Angela, who was one of your residents, and she was on her feet, and we do sort of want to follow up. She's not here with us today, but I want to follow up with you. And we also want to talk about this great party that you got coming up called Hearts and Hatters on Valentine's Day. So thank you very much for inviting me back. I'm glad I didn't take you off to the point where you said, oh, hell no, don't come back.
I'm grateful.
So, but for those that aren't aware, the website is simple enough. It's theberniehouse.org, and you are transitional housing for women and children that have been in a domestically violent situation. I don't know whether spousal abuse is still a relevant term or not. I mean,
Right,
partner abuse or whatever it may be. But for women and children that need to get out of a bad situation. When it gets to that point, I mean, that bad situation has really turned bad. I mean, we're talking about violence. We're talking about social manipulation. We're talking about legal issues. We're talking about, restraining orders. We're talking about police coming to your house and, maybe trips to the emergency room and stuff like this. So, I mean, this is not just a couple, fighting over whether they're going to go with McDonald's or Chick-fil-A. This is really serious stuff that unfortunately we have a serious need for. And fortunately, we've got organizations like the Bernie House that are stepping up to the point to do it. Since we last talked, you've expanded.
Yes, we have.
You had two houses before, one in Montgomery County and then one up in Severn, which I had the pleasure of being able to tour way back when it was opened. I remember you had the open house there. But tell us about this third house that we have.
Yeah, we settled on the third house in July. And so this whole summer has been a huge renovation on all three homes because we had two families transition out in July and August. So we had those two homes that needed new flooring, carpet, paint, minor repairs, and then of course furnishing them all and collecting all those items. And then the new place that we have, which is in the Annapolis area, that needed some extensive drywall, electrical outlets changing up, all new flooring. We had some plumbing issues, and then we had to replace an electrical panel. So there was a lot going on. And fortunately, we made it through, and things are moving forward. We're going to have our ribbon cutting at the end of this month.
Okay.
And by then, we hope to have everyone, with the whole place furnished. Because when the families come, they come in, it's not a vacant home. It's completely furnished. We have a great group of volunteers that are out collecting furniture, moving furniture, and pulling it all together. So they're actually taking what they say one man's trash and turning it into a treasure. And the homes are actually beautiful when they move.
Well, I will say, Fred, again, a lot of people listening don't understand this. The fact that you said it's in the Annapolis area is not because you've got some kind of crazy disease and you forget where it is or you're being vague or anything like that. This is a protective thing, okay? The home it does have an address. It's on a street.
Correct.
It exists just as the other ones do, but this is for protection for the families. We don't want to put them in a situation where they're in danger. Such a unique thing that you guys do. And you talked about furnishing the homes. And I mean, obviously you've got to renovate them, and depending on what situation they are, families are in them for a period of time. But when they move in, they're often coming from nothing. They've literally fled a home with maybe a suitcase, maybe a couple trash bags full of clothing, and have nothing. When they move into a Bernie House home, it blew my mind when I was there at the one that was up in the Severn area. This is furnished. And it's not just a futon in the corner and a folding TV table in the kitchen. This is furnished to the nines, down to the silverware, to the toilet paper in the bathrooms. I mean, it's when you say it's a turnkey, ready to move in home, that's what this is, right?
Right, because we do provide a unique family environment. So a lot of clients are coming from four family members sleeping in one bedroom to a home that has 3 bedrooms. Everyone has their own bedroom. You should just see the elation in the children and how excited they are to have their own beds. And you also have to figure that out too. Are they going do we need bunk beds, twin beds, full beds? Because we can take up to 4 children in each of our homes. And so 5 heartbeats in the homes.
The elation, the empowerment when you come into something like that. But I've also got to think for the children that are going through a difficult, unimaginable time with, let's face it, their family is literally being ripped apart. To be able to have a place to call home has got to help them out in school. They get a desk to do their homework in. They don't need to worry about the heat not being on or off like that, because a lot of the people that leave out of domestic abuse situations do fall into homelessness or couch surfing, or if they're fortunate enough and they have family local, they can all crash in a basement.
Hmm.
And obviously not ideal, but better than where you would come from. And this is just really a new lease on life.
It is. I had an experience recently, and one of our families that has 4 children, mom was sicker than we thought that she was when she entered the program. And I needed to take her to the emergency room for a transfusion. Her numbers were so low that they made her stay overnight. So, of course, my first thought is, what about the children? And, mom was like, they'll be okay on their own for the night. And I just couldn't imagine, because they had just moved in. So they had met me maybe once, the children. And I couldn't imagine how a child would feel to have pretty much a stranger come back to the house, say, hey, mom's not coming home. What that would do to a child, I think, would be devastating. And
Yeah.
and so, I was able to take him out to dinner, and I learned that the oldest child's birthday came and went, and all he wanted for his birthday was McDonald's and some snacks. Right there, that was like a kick in the chest to me. So, unbeknownst to him, I took him to one of those Japanese steak houses where they, fire and flame, and
That's awesome.
and then I had secretly told the hostess. So at the end of the meal, they came out with drums and lights and music and all sang happy birthday to him. So I hope just for maybe that moment, or maybe for the first time ever, he felt like he was heard and that he was important and that someone cared about him. And when I left the mom at the hospital and came back to the house, I noticed the house needed, a little attention. And they did move in with just green trash bags. And the trash bags were thrown in the closets. And I'm thinking, wow, these kids they're a little lazy here.
Yeah.
And when I said, okay, come on, let's get this straightened out and cleaned up. Let's get these things out of the bags and put them in your dressers. And then I thought, they jumped all over it. They were happy. They were happy to pitch in. And then I thought, this is probably the first time these children have, at a first time, have been able to feel like they have a place to stay.
I'm
And
not
that
living
it's,
out of a trash bag.
yeah. And we don't think about these types of things, of what the children go through, and the youngest one was really nonchalant about how they got evicted, and then they just moved into the shelter, and now they're here with us at the Bernie house. And children know what they know, and you don't know what you don't know. But I just left that evening, knowing that those kids, may not have the opportunity of after school sports, or being on a travel team sports, or even think about applying for college. And it's not because they're not capable.
Sure.
It's just because there they are, victims of circumstance. And That's all part of it too. I think I've mentioned before how we've had children that have left the program, and I stay in touch with many who choose to stay in touch, and they have moved on and gotten full scholarships to colleges.
So wonderful.
The one of the gals, her team placed second in the Pan American Olympics. So this is a generational effect on the families. And for the moms, sometimes it's a lot of mental health issues that we have to work on for the first month or two sometimes, because the policies are that you either have to be placed in school, you have to be job training or employed.
And that's Bernie House
Our
requirements.
policies, yes. And right now we're finding out that the two families that we have, the moms are broken. And so we really have to work on the mental health part or component of the program so that they can get to the better point where they can actually seek the employment, get to school, and or job training.
I mean, the job training, the employment, and the kids in school, that's the leg up that people need to, and I hate the term, be a victim. But, in many cases, that's what it is. But they need that education. And a lot of times, due to the types of abuse, they don't have that background. I remember, Angela, when we talked to her last year, she said that she was, if I'm remembering right, she was employed as like retail manager prior to marriage. And then there was, no, you're going to be at home, you're going to be working with the kids and everything else. And then she became unemployable. And then you've got the whole social aspect that works there. So, I mean, the fact that you're requiring this, I mean, you've laid out a pathway, a way forward for these folks. I mean, how long do they stay at the Bernie House? I mean, is it as long as they need, or?
No, we have a 2-year limit. And we've had a few that have moved out before the 2 years because they were ready to sprout their wings
That's
and
wonderful.
move forward. And this one of the last families that moved out, she stayed for maybe 2 years and 4 months, but we were working on loans. We were working on, how the logistics of the new schools and working with the kids to leave the program so that they just start fresh in a new school in their new house that mom bought.
Right.
So if the client's working on that type of thing, we extend
Some
the time.
extra months is good.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure.
So, I mean, the ultimate goal then is 2 years. We've gotten the education that we need if we've needed it. We've gotten the employment that we need. We've gotten the mental health ability. And I know at one point you told me you get into the whole financial thing and managing money, because oftentimes one spouse handles the money in a relationship and the other one is oblivious.
Right.
And that happens without spousal abuse. I mean, that happens in pretty much most divorces. And certainly I know when, one spouse dies, it's like, well, gosh, now what? He always took care of the bills. She always took care of this. And I have no idea.
Yeah.
So the goal is ultimately to get them out into their own place, whether it be buying a house or affording rent on their own. This need is so great. Okay. And I'm sure that, 3 houses, some people will sit there and say that, well, that's not very many. What is the need for this? I mean, how tough is domestic abuse? How big of a problem are we looking at as a society? And I guess more specifically, kind of like in the, Anne Arundel, the Maryland region where you have your homes.
Well, I can say that I get a ton of phone calls, and it's heartbreaking because the women that do call are exhausted. They've called everyone in town, and there's shelters. There are things that are available. The community, they have a lot of nonprofits that are available and support for this type of clientele or this type of people in the community. But there's waiting lists, or we don't have room at the inn, or all that. So I've had women sleeping in their cars with teenagers calling, and it's hard to say no, because what what are they doing? The safety, the protection, how cold it is at night. Imagine if it's summertime and your child has an ear infection, you get amoxicillin.
Right.
There's no refrigeration in your car for that. Those things need to be refrigerated.
Oh, well, Mackenzie Bezos, if you're listening to this, next time you're looking to drop $30 million, drop it over here at the Bernie House so they can buy a couple more homes for people that need this. This is, I guess her name's Mackenzie Scott. Mackenzie Bezos Scott. So if you're listening, make this your next write your
Go
next
Mackenzie.
write your next check here. But so how many families have you helped over? I mean, obviously it's you've started this what?
Started it. My father passed away in 1997.
And that's Bernie.
Yes, and I started raising the funds in like 1998 or immediately, really. But I didn't actually have enough money to purchase the first home until 2001. So I've been at this for a long time.
25 years, sure.
Yeah, and in 13 years, the first home was paid off. And at that point, I wasn't putting full-time effort into it, but I said to myself, well, now what? And that's when I started expanding. And fortunately, I have a huge force of volunteers, generous donors that have really made the program go, because you can't work without the funds or the support from the community. And I'd have to say, I think we've helped about 24 families.
Jeez, that's huge.
And that's at least 27 children.
You have to sleep so well at night.
I don't.
Well, I mean, you have to sleep well at night knowing that you've done that, but probably poorly because you've answered the phone calls saying that I can't help you.
Yeah. And you just don't know what to say. What do you say? And you have to say sorry. And I know that I'm probably the 10th person on the line of telephone calls that have said I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's nuts. Well, we talked about the generous donors in your board and the people that are behind this, and everybody really should be. But you have an event coming up on Valentine's Day.
Yes.
It's called the Hearts and Hatters Ball.
Yes.
A little bit different than your Mardi Gras ball that you've done in years past.
A little different because I didn't want things to get stale, and I just wanted to change things up a little bit. So we thought, well, why not Valentine's Day? Valentine's Day, you usually go to restaurants and it's one meal, one menu selection that you have. It's, you're waiting forever, even if you make reservations, but why not take your sweetheart and come? And we have a lot of singles that do come. And so we thought Valentine's, and then we have a king and a queen. So we thought, okay, a Queen of Hearts, which made us kind of think the whole Mad Hatter Tea Party type of thing. So I assume people will be coming with some really cool hats. Most people do get dressed, men suits, tuxedos, women in gowns.
I will say that of all of the events that happen in Annapolis, the Mardi Gras ball that you have hosted for years, and I'm sure the Hearts and Hatters, again, on February 14th, are probably the fanciest as far as dress goes.
Oh. Well,
probably the least. I mean, they're probably very casual as far as attitude goes.
Yeah. That's
nobody
what makes
takes
it so
themselves
fun.
too seriously.
Yeah.
But I mean, I loved looking, at the people that are coming into the Mardi Gras ball, and I mean, just dressed to the nines and really get into it, just as they get into the support of the Bernie House.
Yeah, I agree. It's a good time of year because there's always something going on in Annapolis.
Right.
February is kind of
a
little quiet. And I think people do like to get dressed up. And this day we are all so casual.
Yeah.
In this day and age. I think they really do. The women look absolutely fabulous.
Sure.
Cover of Vogue.
Sure.
Sure. And the men, they clean up well too. So
every now and then we can do it.
But they really do. We have great live music. We have a live band, and I've been to a lot of charity events myself, and I've never seen a dance floor as crowded as the dance floors on the events that we have. I mean, they're off the floor and they're in the carpet dancing near the table.
Right.
So it's a good time.
Right. Well, this is at the Graduate Hotel by Hilton on West Street this year.
Mhm.
And again, February 14th, which is a Saturday, right?
Yes.
This time, which is good from 6 p.m. to 10:30.
Mhm.
And I know you can get your tickets at whereinannapolis.com. And Mitch is great. He does a great job with
Yeah,
all of
love
his
Mitch.
ticketing stuff.
Yeah.
Or simple enough, you can go to theberniehouse.org, and that's going to take you there as well.
Was one of the last families that moved out, but we were working on loans, working on the logistics of working with the kids to leave the program so that they just start fresh in a new school in their new house that mom bought. We were also able to get her a new car, and now she just published a book. She just published
So
a
the
book about
woman has
history.
gone through the Bernie house
Yeah,
out on her own,
yeah,
staring down the barrel of a bachelor's in social work,
yeah,
new car, and a book, published author now.
yeah. Oh, wait, and she bought the house. When she moved out, she purchased her home.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So she is the second client that has graduated from our program buying a house. So that's
That's
just amazing.
huge. That blows my mind that within a 2-year period, some mortgages don't get approved in 2 years,
Yeah.
much less coming from the situation that,
Homelessness
yes.
to a home buyer.
Oh my gosh. Well, what is the name of this book and where can we get it?
Well, the book is for sale on Amazon and
As all books are, it seems.
and the book is called Breaking Chains, Building Homes, The Bernie House Transformation by Stephanie Canali.
For your name in there in the title.
Yes. Yes, but she's truly appreciated. She's appreciative of the program and what we've done. And, I know that she looks up to me, but, I don't think she realizes how much I look up to her, how strong she is and all she was able to accomplish.
I felt the same way last year when I spoke with Angela. I walked out of here and I felt worthless.
Mm.
And that sounds really weird, but when you're faced with somebody that has the adversity that they've faced, and I remember her talking about the physical abuse and the emotional abuse and the just the mental abuse that they went through, and trying to plant the kids against her, and the whole 9 yards, and the controlling, and to have somebody have the, pardon the language, but the balls to get out of that situation and make that change is incredible. I thought it was incredible that Angela wanted to talk about that continue to talk about it. And for Stephanie to be able to write a book on her experiences is huge.
It is amazing because when Stephanie graduated college, she had anxieties of, being in large crowds. So she didn't walk because I had offered to sit there with her, watch the kids while she walked down with her cap and gown. So we didn't let it go without celebration. So we took her to dinner and she actually showed up in her cap and gown that was there. And when she graduated, she sent me a text and said, I never thought I would be, or I was smart enough or strong enough to be able to graduate college. And she's much stronger than even that, and she's an amazing person, and I truly look up to her.
And this book is available on Amazon.
Yeah.
And again, it's
Breaking Chains, Building Homes, The Bernie House Transformation. And she will be at the ball, at the Hearts and Hatters ball. And she will be signing some books there. So,
well, good. Put the money in her pocket, not Amazon's.
Yeah.
And get a signature on it too.
You know what? It's all about empowering our clients. And if that doesn't, we support her.
She wrote a book on her experience.
Yeah.
How long ago did she move out?
She moved out in July.
Okay, 6 months ago,
Yeah.
roughly. So we're talking 36 months ago. She was in a worse situation than any of us probably can ever imagine.
Mm-hmm.
She's come through the Bernie house. She moved into a home that was furnished for her and her 4 children.
Yes.
Got an associate's degree.
Mm-hmm.
Got over to a degree, the social anxieties and everything else that's gone out there. They got enough financial wherewithal to turn around to get a mortgage, get out, move out into a new home, move into a new neighborhood, get the kids reacclimated where they need to be, which is hell for anybody, and wrote a book.
Amazing, isn't it?
Wow.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Is there a way that we might be able to talk to her?
I would love the opportunity.
Does she live locally?
No,
Now
she's
at this
not.
point?
She moved out of state,
Okay.
but we could do something.
We can do it on the phone?
Yeah,
Can you connect me with her and we'll find a time to
I would love to do that, and I'm sure she would love the opportunity too.
that would be great. We're going to sell some books, but my gosh, I do want to talk to this woman. This woman is, bodybuilders aside, I'm thinking I'm meeting all the strong women when I come to the Bernie House, because they come out of here and they're just absolute powerhouses.
They were probably powerhouses before they moved in there. They just had somebody there that just beat them down so low that made them feel like they were worthless.
That's true. When you sit there and you talk about any number of people, so I didn't think I was strong enough, smart enough, rich enough, good enough of, it could be stupid stuff, good enough of a driver, good enough of a soccer player, or whatever it is. We are our own worst enemy.
Yeah.
We're very easy to doubt our self-worth. And all you really need is something to sit there and say, no, you are worth it. You are strong. You can do this. And that's exactly what this program is doing. Do you have sights on a 4th house?
Yes, I do.
I'm sure you got sights on a 50th house too, but
Yeah. I'd love to have 5, but I'm really conservative on just every aspect of the organization. So I will get this 3rd family in and get, the organization acclimated to 3 families, because now, we had to hire another case manager. Our expensive has gone up a third, so everything I need to be in the comfortable spot. We're saying, okay, we're prepared and we're ready to move forward. And, all at the same time, my goal this year is to grow the board and just start looking at the future, because I won't live forever. So the tricky part would be is how do you keep this grassroots feeling and active as you grow?
It's laudable that you're looking ahead to the future. At some point, you've got to step down from here, and it'd be quite the legacy that you could leave for yourself and for your father.
Yeah.
Tickets, Hearts and Hatters, Ball, February 14th, 6 to 10:30, theberniehouse.org, or you can go to whereinannapolis.com, pick up your tickets there. I venture to say go to theberniehouse.org first and find out really more about what they do. You're going to be able to see Stephanie Canali at the Hearts and Hatters Ball. You can order that book on Amazon and really see and read what an impact this little small organization in Annapolis makes on the life of, in her case, that would be 5 people. And again, I want to thank you so much, Patti, for not so much your inviting me here today, but for the work that you had the insight to conceive of 25 years ago. And I wish that you would be out of business and didn't have to do this. And unfortunately, you don't. And the one thing I do want to say is that I think with domestic abuse, it's very much like addiction, that you've got this assumption that, oh, it could never happen here. It would never happen to me. And that's wrong. It happens everywhere. And I remember I spoke with Angel Trainer, and, it's happening in Snooty Severna Park. It's happening in Glen Burnie. It's happening in Harwood. It's happening down in Deal. It's happening absolutely everywhere. And I don't remember exactly what it was, but Angela had thrown out a statistic last year that it was, I was thinking it was something like 3 in 10 have been a victim of domestic abuse.
We don't even know, because a lot of the stuff goes unreported.
Right.
And then we did get a piece of property donated last year, and looking at developing it perhaps, and that would be 2 more houses. But that's still in a thought process.
Sure.
And I thought, it would be just so tough for me to get permits and everything, because, the whole neighborhood gets involved, and then people aren't going to want this in their backyard.
Right.
And little do they know it's probably happening 2 doors away.
Sure.
Yeah.
It is everywhere. And I mean, it does rear its face in any number of ways. I mean, we talked about physical, emotional, mental, financial. And, these families need help. And you're doing it, and it's one home at a time. And It's just a beautiful thing. Hearts and Hatters, February 14th, theberniehouse.org. And again, Patti Slaughter, I want to thank you so much for everything that you've done, everything that you continue to do. And we're going to have a good time on the 14th.
Thank you for helping us spread the word.
Well, I'll tell you, true to her word, Patti put me in touch with Stephanie Canale, who is joining me on the phone today. And Stephanie, I want to thank you so much for your time. And I'm kind of excited to hear that you're going to be up at the Hearts and Hatters Ball. And we wanted to talk about your book that you're going to have there, which is called Breaking Chains, Building Homes, The Bernie House Transformation. And that's a pretty powerful title.
Yes. It took me a while to come up with that title, but I had to reflect on what brought me to where I am today. And I couldn't think of anything better than the Bernie House, which is I'm where I am today because of them.
Well, you are actually not at the Bernie House today because of them. Maybe, I guess you have moved on beyond them, which is so exciting to hear because, as Patti had said, that the Bernie House is a transitional housing and it's a life preserver for many for a short period of time to get up and out, and you have certainly gone that way. But your whole story in this book is just really very, very compelling. That you've basically lived a life of I don't want to say abuse necessarily through the whole life, but it just hasn't. Foster care when you were younger, adoption, marriage, which was an abusive marriage, and then now you are on your own with your children as a homeowner, and
yes,
it's huge. How can you sort of take me through your story?
Yeah. Well, I don't want to take a whole lot of the time here, but
the book is 221 pages, so.
It is. It does start my journey off as well. Actually, I started off as entering my own home for the first time, but my journey did begin in foster care after I was taken away from my parents at a young age, I believe 4, because of drug abuse and domestic violence because of that as well. And then, I entered an adoptive home at 8 to where there was more abuse going on there, physical and sexual. And then entered into a marriage that just was the same, domestic violence, mental, physical, emotional, But thankfully, I landed to the Bernie House to where now I am a homeowner with my kids. And it still feels like a dream sometimes when I'm walking down my own halls.
Well, I want to sort of go back into, your marriage. At some point, Stephanie, you got to a point where you said, okay, enough is enough. I'm out. And you had the courage to take that step. How did we get out of this marriage and into the Bernie House? I know it wasn't an immediate step into the house.
No. Actually, it was a lot of emotional pain that was carried through time and time again. It was always, I'm sorry, it's still difficult to talk about, but one thing that did get me through it and to open my eyes, I'll never forget. It was actually a uniformed officer in Anne Arundel County that did respond to the house one time. And he just took the time to let me know that there's resources out there, that he cares, and he doesn't want to see me ending up dead in a ditch, because he says that's the reality that he does see. And just that reality did do a checkmate on me. So I have to owe it to the officer that opened my eyes that night. And he sat there and talked to me for a little bit.
And everyone likes to think that the cops are the bad guys.
Yeah, no, it's farthest from the truth. He's the reason I did leave, and I had, the support from knowing that I can be safe, that there is help out there. Because when you're in that type of environment, isolated, you do feel like nobody cares. There's no help there. I can't do this. But the officer gave me encouragement that I can do this. And then the Bernie House was just the icing on the cake.
when you left, I mean, what resources did I know that we have the YWCA, which has a safe house, which is it's in an undisclosed location, and it's, sort of immediate care for somebody that's fleeing an abusive relationship. I mean, what happened between the time that you left and the time that you got into the Bernie house?
Oh, yeah. No, the officers did escort me. I did have a current protective order where they were able to escort me to that confidential location, to that shelter with the YWCA. And from there, the case managers at the YWCA helped me apply and bring the burning house to my attention. So it was a process of paperwork.
Yeah. No, I'm sure it was. Now, I mean, a question. I know that the Bernie house when you moved into the Bernie house, it was ready to go. It was fully furnished, ready to accept you and your family. What did that feel like moving into it for you?
Oh, gosh, it was a huge relief. It took a lot of, stress off my shoulders. I can't tell you how much, because when we're moving with nothing, basically nothing, but we're doing so much more than worrying about the materials we don't have. I mean, I had to put a lot of my focus and attention on the emotional needs of the children I had that I had to take care of. That in itself was exhausting. But to walk into the burning house that had everything supplied made me feel more safe, more comfortable, more hope. Definitely a lot more hope.
And a home, that's for sure. So how long were you in the Bernie house for, you and your family?
I think we were in there just a little over, just about 2 years, where we saved for 2 years in order to get the down payment and for the new home and everything that goes with owning a home.
So then, obviously Bernie house gave you the resources and everything else to get on to that next step with as little hassle as possible. I mean, let me face it, man. Buying a house for anybody is a hassle, and it's not easy.
By far.
But somebody, coming from your situation, having literally, and I mean, I've worked with the Blue Ribbon Project, and my daughter's in the that realm for her career. When you see these children going into, whether it be foster care or certainly leaving a marriage, I mean, you are literally leaving with the clothes on your back. I mean, there's no moving truck coming in to carefully pack up your stuff and take it to the next forever home. This is just, we're out.
Yes, exactly. Sometimes you don't have that time because you're trying to get out as quick as you can before the abuser knows that you're leaving, because that's the most precarious time of all to leave. So
going through the Bernie house, you've gone through their program. They've given you the resources and the counseling and everything else that you're going to need to take that next giant step. How was it for you when you took that step, when you said, okay, I'm ready to go, let's apply for a mortgage, let's find a house and apply for a mortgage?
I couldn't tell you how high my anxiety was. It was very anxiety-ridden, to say the least, because especially like a person like me, the unknown is what scares me the most. The change is scary. So like an emotional basket case.
I can imagine. Tell me about your life now. Okay, so we've got the key to the house. I read the first bit of your book, and it started with the key, with the slim piece of metal in your hand.
Yes.
Which was the key to the future.
Exactly. Now I still have that key on my key ring, of course. I've upgraded it to another security deadbolt that goes without the key, but the key's always on my key ring. But now I think life is great because I've graduated from college with 2 degrees.
Well, wait. Okay, so you didn't have a college degree coming out of the marriage?
No, I did not.
Jeez.
I did not.
Man.
A lot of times that was prevented. Didn't have access, no child care. The the ex was very cautious in monitoring the mileage on my van, so couldn't go to classes, couldn't go to work.
Wow. Congratulations to you. You said 2 degrees now?
You. Yes. Mm-hmm.
In what?
One's in law enforcement and criminal justice, and the other one's in human services.
Awesome for you.
Yeah.
And how does this look for your family? Okay, you guys have your own home. You've got and not the term in the clinical term, it's not a safe home, but it is a safe home for you. This is a future for you guys. How are your kids feeling?
Oh, they're exceeding well in school. That's the first thing I noticed when we got our own home and we were all safe again. The laughter came back. We were able to smile and we were able to laugh. You don't have to feel like you're walking on eggshells day to day. You can be your true form. And they've got that back. We're talking about not having to worry that the person that we left is right around the corner. We jumped state where there's more family support that I didn't have in years. And so it's nice to be reconnected to the family support I have now.
That's awesome, and your family is there for you, and I mean that's to see your kids thrive is just amazing. I would never pretend to know anything about what you have gone through, but I know the pride I see when I see my own kids succeed, whether it be in sports or in school or in careers or whatever it is, and it's just really a testament to what the fortitude that you, Stephanie, have to go through what you went through and said, I've had enough and I'm making a change. And you did. And that's just incredible.
Yes, and one of that change was made because of the kids. Just looking at them, I don't want them to have to witness it. They are still thriving academically, but they do still have trauma. They've been in counseling since we've left because they have some nightmares. I have a couple kids in my bed every night because when we were at the Bernie house, they were afraid to sleep in their own bedrooms. Now they have their own bedrooms. And with that counseling, and the counseling through the Bernie house as well has helped them grow. So I did it for the kids more so.
Well, that's certainly to be expected when coming from a situation like that. It's not something that, as you know, it's not something that you can just walk out the door and everything changes. It's not the Wizard of Oz. We don't land in this beautiful, colorful, perfect world when we land there. I know one of the facts that we talked about with Patti, and was 1 in 3 adults are going to be the victim of some sort of domestic abuse. And again, as you mentioned, it can be financial, it can be emotional, it can be physical, it can be sexual. It's, as somebody that has gone through this for a lot longer than most people have, I would venture to say, just going back to your foster days, adoption, and everything else, what do you have to say to somebody that is in a relationship that's abusive right now?
I just want them to know to hold on to any hope that they have, because there are people out here that do care. There are resources. They can do it. And just like the Nike symbol says, just do it. It's been, because you think when you're going to leave, it's going to be, you're going to fall on your face. It's not easy, but it's so worth it.
Thanks for listening to this week's Local Business Spotlight. Please make sure to visit eyeonannapolis.net for all your local news, events, and opinion. And in case you haven't already, please subscribe to the Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief, where we bring you all the day's local news direct to your phone, tablet, or computer in about 10 minutes. It comes to you at 6 a.m. every Monday through Friday, and you can subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.